Hello everybody, Keith here again. Been rather inspired by the Care Collab video series put out by Up Orchids and Fernanda Nascimento and one or two others about Oncidium Twinkles. I've got a couple and it prompted me to go and have a look at them, and I thought, although I'm not part of the group, I'd do a quick video to look at them and let you have a look at their histories. I bought these at an East Midlands Orchid Society show in March 2019 from Lawrence Hobbs. They were out of flower and not, as it turned out, in the most brilliant condition. This is the red one. They're just labelled red and white. Which version of the red this is, whether it's cinnamon or red fancy, I honestly don't know. But this one was actually in the better condition. The pseudo bulbs were quite plump, but it was they both needed an immediate repot, which they got. And I put them into the Westland mix, which is quite a fine bark, and Ceramis, because I'd heard and seen on the web and what have you that, like many Oncidiums, these things drink. So I thought, okay, water retentive medium should do well. And this one did okay. Didn't do as well as the other one in actual fact, strange as that may seem, although because the other one was in the worst condition. But nevertheless, this did okay until January 2020, and it was then started to look very poor. Some of the pseudo bulbs started to, die off and go a bit soft. So I got it out of the pot, trimmed those off, and put it back, and it's still in that Westland medium. And I'm pleased to say that we've got roots right the way down to the bottom. So this one's doing okay. I'm in two minds whether to repot it. At the moment, I'm not sure it needs it, except to put it into a slightly wider pot. Now I know that orchids like to be underpotted rather than overpotted, but nearly all the new growths are coming up on the outside. There's about 6 on here. If we start from that as a marker, you've got 1 there, 2 there, that's 3. 1 there, that's 4, 1 there, that's 5, 1 here, that's 6, and another one that's not quite fully matured, 7. So you've got 6 or 7 on there, and it's doing okay. They've got roots through the bottom, so it's not getting a stagnant area so much in the bottom of here, although I am being quite careful about how much to water it, and I'm getting the finger end in there and trying to make sure that it's not wet when I water it again. So that one's doing okay. The pseudo bulbs are nice and plump, and we're laughing. This is the white one, and you can probably see straight away that the pseudo bulbs on this are flat, and this was how it came. All the pseudo bulbs were flat, and I sort of got the impression that this was how this one grew its pseudo bulbs, and it didn't plump them up the same. As I said with the other one, I had to get them out of the pot quite quickly and repot them. And this one, the first year, did extremely well. I was really pleased with it, put out quite a lot of new growths, flowered very well, much better than the red one. And then last year it didn't do so well, didn't flower as well. I only put a couple of spikes up, whereas the other one put quite a lot more up. So I had a look at it in April 2021, so over a year after the other one, and what had happened was the bottom of the pot in that Westland mix had become completely stagnant. There is a tendency with that Westland mix, because it's got a fine bark in there, as you water it over time, a lot of that bark gets washed to the bottom, and it does start to get very wet and stay wet for a long time, although the top part of it doesn't. And the roots were only in the top half of the pot. So when I got it out, it wasn't looking very happy at all. It's now in plain bark, so it's in a different mix altogether, but even since April this year, it's now looking much better. Again, if we take this plant label as a marker, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So again, you've got 7 new growths on this, and it's looking a lot happier. I'm hoping that we're going to see roots starting to push out. There's some emerging, but they're above the level of the of this compost. But it's doing a lot better, and the older pseudobulbs are plumping back up again, so that's obviously nice. So that's just my Twinkles. I think the thing to say is, like a lot of Oncidiums, they like water when they're growing, not on a Catadante level, because my Catadante drinks like a fish, but it's a much bigger plant. So I think you need to have these with some water retention, although having it in plain bark just means you water it slightly more often. But I don't think you want them to be soggy. I mean, there's not very many orchids that we generally grow that want wet roots. There are some, of course, but certainly not many in the Oncidium tribe. It's probably why these things can do extremely well on mounts. But anyway, that's just my quick ramble about Twinkles. I hope that's been interesting. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.